Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Tower of Babble podcast. As always, I am Julian Musha. I'm joined by Jeremy Cozier.
Hello.
And a Happy New Year to all our ToB fans out there, to our listeners out there. We are rolled over to 2024, and let's just hope that this year's better than the last, because last year sucked. We can all agree. And we can move on.
So it's just a vicious cycle.
I think we have to maintain hope, right? If you assume it's going to be as bad as last year, that's like the glass.
So isn't the thought
empty
process you just expressed? Didn't that just happen like a couple years, 3 years?
Yeah, this is like the fourth one we're trying for. Fifth one. Basically, since
can we just go back to 2018? Like,
that's 100%. The Marvel hype is at its highest it's ever been. Right,
16, 17, 18. Jeez Louise.
Those are everyone knows that the good old days have come and gone. There's no more good old days to come. It just gets worse, I guess, from here. Sorry to the millennials.
Well, new generations are living their own whatever version.
But you think?
Of that,
I don't know, man. It's tough out there.
It said their own, right?
I guess
their own.
They all have to forge it through like the trials and tribulations of a crazy housing market, and everything costs $1 million and. Yeah, it's not fun, but there is fun stuff.
But everything's just super convenient for them.
Yeah, you don't have to like leave your house for anything now.
Yeah, they don't got to go to a Blockbuster.
It's funny you mentioned that. I was just talking about this the other day because I live on a street that actually used to have a Blockbuster on it. I realized this later, like recently, because I don't typically go that far down the street. But
like towards
Portage. Yeah, exactly. Right on the corner.
I thought you'd venture over there to your old convenience store, Jeffrey's, and
well, no, that there's actually a convenience store the other direction, so it's easier. But long story short, I actually do miss it going to, and I know this is like rote or whatever. Everyone says that, and it's like, well, the convenience of the Netflix experience is just that much better that there's a reason that Blockbuster went out of business, but. I don't know. There is something to be said about, okay, well, I'm not going to go to the movie theater, but I am going to go out and get a movie that kind of like changes your dynamic, how you think about it. You paid money. You feel like you put money into that movie specifically, right? So it kind of changes your perception a little bit. I don't know. Am I just too nostalgic?
I think I think it's mostly nostalgic because it just puts you right back in that time and space. Which essentially the internet didn't exist, or like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but sometimes you just want to rent a movie, and it's like you have to like open your laptop or your phone and Google. Yes, you're not opening your laptop. Let's be honest.
Now you just have so much choice with that convenience, that's what we trade it for. So now you can just hunker down and basically get lost in whatever. And it's come to a point where it's almost too much.
It is too much.
And then there's anxiety based off of that, of choosing the wrong thing, or just not enough attention paid to it, especially since we have cellular phone like devices now, mini computers in front of us.
Supercomputers.
As soon as our attention span is gone, you're leaving the relationship of the movie.
I just think it's
and then movies
easy.
made now are made in that like cheap kind of way.
It's too transitive. Like it comes and goes. You put a movie on, you're on your phone the whole time, and it's the moment. All the moments blend together, and I feel like there was a time where the moments were more separated, right? Mm-hmm. So you would sit down and watch a movie, and that was it. There was no on to the next one immediately, or go watch Friends for the 4,000th time. I think that's another thing, which is like being able to rewatch stuff over and over again has also created this world where new stuff doesn't get as much attention, for good or for bad.
Yeah, it's just totally different experience. Like that's why the theater is always king. That's why it'll always exist, is because the key component is that it is shutting off every other option and choice you have, essentially. And you are locked into a relationship that you're giving a chance. And then eventually it can consume you based off what someone is trying to tell you. And if you're willing to listen and engage with that, then you're off to the races. And then
the artist.
You can kind of just determine through there, like, what is the message? What are they telling you? How does it make you feel? And then from there, determine on whether or not you think this is of some sort of value for just yourself
that's
or many.
That's what it's all about. Feeling, going to the movies to feel something, right? Excitement, sadness, what's that line from the AMC stuff, which is like somehow sadness feels good in a place like this or whatever. That's right. That is a true statement. I feel like that, we can
but also when labeling those like stats there, it's not necessarily need to be pumped up in that regard to define all those, emotions or whatever. Like, you like a little bit with the Iron Claw, like to me, it was just like my jaw was just basically dropped like the majority of the time, just kind of accepting like everything that's going on.
Not a movie you would normally see in the movie theater, right? Would that be fair to say?
For me, no. Like I wanted to see it in the theater just based off of a lot of the promotion. I thought the promotion was handled really well, just kind of showcasing all those actors traveling together, and then just talking about their camaraderie and just the relationship on set and like what it meant to them. Talking about the real story behind the movie.
That's crazy to me.
It just felt like it should be watched in a theater setting where I just basically said like, everything else is cut off. You're locked in.
Well, so let me frame this up a little bit. So, okay. We do a monthly film club. Normally those are old movies. We were really hitting the 90s movies really hard over the last year. And Jeremy had the brilliant idea of doing a new movie, which has never really occurred to me. So we decided we're going to do The Iron Claw for this month's film club for January. We both have seen it in the theater. And we are going to give it a full review as a part of the film club, so stay tuned for that. But we'll frame it up a little bit here. Largely speaking, I think it is great. It is a movie that I wouldn't normally see in a movie theater, but I think it's really important that I did because the movie is so upsetting that it would be really easy to disengage from it when it really wants you to like linger in feelings of sadness and grief and like just like the unbelievable like shock of these moments. And you're like, if you were given the opportunity to just like, okay, you know what? I need to like separate myself. Give me some space between myself and this movie. It's just easy to pick up your phone, scroll something for a second, and allow yourself to disengage, right? Whereas you're watching in a movie theater, you can't do that. Or it's much harder to do that unless some people fall asleep or and stuff like that. But I don't think that's for the same reason. So I 100% agree with you, which is why the movie theater is always king. Speaking of which, by the way, Jeremy, have you been to the new Saint Vital theater?
I mean, like the one I went into was like new seats or whatever.
Yeah, but also new design, right? They've moved the front row. It's like imagine normal
like
stadium
the theater.
Seating. Yeah, right. But instead of the front section being super close to the screen, they've made that like a walkable section. There is a row of seats at that level, but then you walk up a set of seats, a set of stairs, like up a 5-foot wall, basically. And then you start a new row of seats from there, and they're all the recliners. Yeah,
it's a whole different kind of setup to facilitate that amount of seats, which is obviously got to be less than before.
Yeah, it is 100% less, but I think the reality is they weren't filling those theaters. So
it's a proper evolution of those theaters.
Yeah,
those theaters always felt smaller when you went into them anyways, so I think it's kind of a perfect fit.
Well, and when you have fewer seats, it somehow makes the screen feel a little bit more intimate, right? Like it's a big screen. It's not as big as an IMAX or whatever, but it doesn't feel like you're into this like cheap feeling, right? It is better. And they added a new AVX, which does tout Dolby Atmos. And when I went to see Aquaman and The Last Kingdom, there was a whole and this is something I've been championing, I think, for a little bit, which there was a whole pre-roll section that was just about the technology that the theater had. So Dolby Atmos and like the digital laser projection and like the high dynamic range coloring and all that stuff. I think people should be more aware or be made more aware of the technology that they're of the movies.
No, they just want that little button where it goes and then like we need a sound bite of like whatever that sound is.
That's like the THX sound, I think, or something like that. But it's like it's too long. it takes too long to play that sound. But maybe every time we start getting into the nitty gritty of like the technology of movie theaters, we should just play that and be like, go take that as a sign to get out of here. Move on to the next thing. But I don't know. My feeling like is like people got tired of the theater because for a bunch of reasons, it was too expensive. They felt like they could watch stuff at home. But if they felt like that the experience of watching it at the theater was that much better, digital projection, all these things, object-based sound, which Dolby Atmos is, and stuff like that, they might not know or be able to tell necessarily the difference, not unless it was side by side. But knowing that it's there is kind of like, oh yeah, I saw it in laser projection, or I saw it in Dolby Atmos. You know what I mean? Like that is something that I feel like could help theaters promote the theater going experience more, which is, as we know, an experience that is on its it's not that healthy right now.
Yeah, but like if we talk about the Iron Claw, it's like I knew it was going to be in one of the smaller theaters, and I like it wasn't one of those things where I needed like laser clarity.
No,
this
Aquaman was though.
Yeah. But if I went to see Aquaman and I want to go to the theater, I'm going to make sure it's in AVX or IMAX.
Right, but the thing is, the AVX.
It's also the price.
Right. I also didn't know what AVX was for a long time. Right. It's like it's just 3 letters. Audio visual experience or something. Maybe I don't know, but it didn't explain what the technology was. At least I know what a IMAX is, even if it's not a true IMAX. I know what that they're trying to achieve there, right? So, and I guess, by the way, Polo Park is due for its own renovation, I think, at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway.
I'm just picturing the manager we saw hobbling around.
Every time I think about it, I think about the team of managers I saw in the Toronto airport.
Oh, right, yeah. Where you could have intervened and...
I tried.
Started a chain reaction.
I tried. I said, excuse me, can I ask you a question? You guys all look like you work for Cineplex. Excuse me, can I ask you a question? And they're like, oh, yeah, sure. Why the hell do you guys keep the lights on for the previews? Which, by the way,
it sucks versus this one because the light was shining pretty badly on like the bottom left corner of the screen.
Drives me nuts. It's a shame, a travesty. I don't know. Tragic shamockery.
But also like the price, right? Like people aren't gonna, like some people, it's what they can afford, and like that $13 price range, like where I saw Iron Claw with those reclining seats, like, hey, like that's gonna get a lot of people probably, and it was pretty full. And that movie came out in December, I think,
I was a decent crew at the my screening as well, which I think is a good sign. I think, by the way, speaking of Iron Claw, A24 announced late last year that they were going to start leaning into like bigger productions and kind of take a stab at kind of the large, like the blockbuster market.
Wasn't The Rock doing like a similar thing here with like a UFC MMA fighter portrayal biopic?
Yeah, The Rock recently announced that he was going to try to refine his acting choices and is going to try he teased it a while ago, but it's been like officially announced. Like director, and like he's doing it. He's playing a real life MMA fighter kind of before UFC was super popular. And again, we can all agree that The Rock. I just saw there was actually, speaking of funny, you mentioned that because I'm watching on the Iron Claw IMDb page. It's playing a trailer for Baywatch, which also featured Zac Efron, but also featured The Rock, and widely regarded as one of The Rock's worst movies. But The Rock is also...
That's when everyone was shitting on him, man, including yourself.
Man, including you. The guy wasn't putting in good performances. What do you want me to say?
And it culminated with us because of Black Adam. It was just such a major disappointment with his
100%.
With his long selling pitch.
Oh, my God.
That, hyped us up a little bit, but then it just got too stagnant, and then just all the rotating doors at Warner Brothers, and it just was a recipe for disaster, and they didn't pull the plug like they did with Batgirl.
I tell you, I mentioned this on the small screen Star Wars podcast I did with Rachel over the weekend. But last year I got a Black Adam Hallmark Christmas tree ornament. from Kara's mom, and she always gets these random Hallmark ornaments, and I never asked for this. Like I didn't want that
ornaments.
Well, I'm, as I mentioned on that other show, which you should listen to, Small Screen Star Wars. It's on this feed. If you're listening to this, you should be able to find it. Always great stuff talking about Star Wars stuff. But we were talking about our Christmas, Star Wars themed Christmas, and I just think that my Christmas tree is always like, I try to keep it relatively refined. I don't just throw any willy-nilly shit on there. And I'm certainly not putting a Black Adam ornament on my Christmas tree. So there's a whole bunch of these that she'd given us over the years that we sold on Marketplace. But the only one that didn't sell was the Black Adam one. So take that for what it's worth. It's a sign, maybe. I don't know. But that is what it is. Okay, let's move into the meat of this. There's a few things I want to cover today. By the way, I should mention this. We're recording this. It's Monday night, 15th of January. The Emmys are happening as we speak, which I didn't realize till we just about to sit down to record. So we'll cover the winners at a later date. We'll also talk about the Golden Globe winners in this episode if we have the time. Okay, so look for a deeper dive into the Iron Claw on our film club. That's exclusive to our Patreon subscribers. You can support the show by heading over to patreon.com/Tower of Babble Podcast. That's BABBLE. And for as little as $5 a month, you'll get access to that. And it's a fun extra bonus content for you. And there is a Discord channel for you to come and join the conversation. If you can't support us there, next best thing, follow us on Twitter at Tower of Babblecast, Facebook.com/Tower of Babblecast. Send us any questions, comments, concerns you might have to Tower of Babble Podcast at gmail.com. And we'll be happy to address those or read those on air. Okay. So, couple things I didn't get a chance to ask you about last time we recorded, Jeremy. One of the things I wanted to ask you about was the new Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes trailer. Have you seen this?
I did.
Are you... So there's obviously a trilogy. I think we both agree that those are pretty good movies. This last two, especially the first one, this is, further into the future of that world, right? The apes have more of a community. They're much more established as a society. Is this still grabbing you? Is this still interesting to you at this stage? No, the fourth one?
Yeah, I mean, it's quite a stellar trailer in my opinion.
It's
I was
beautiful.
pretty blown away by it. Like just the beginning, just the seeing him riding, a moose or whatever, and then the eagle,
landing
lands on him or whatever. Yeah. Just the control, and then you see the control over humans, and like just the way it was all shown just looks so action packed and just cohesive and just powerful. So I don't know. I'm
you're in.
Excited.
Okay, yeah, same. I just wanted to check. Same. This looks really cool. I kind of thought they were gonna stop after the third one. I was like, I don't know if they need to truly tell any more of these stories. We kind of saw the story of Caesar, right? And that kind of culminates at the end of the third one.
This one's just like generations later too.
Yeah, it's just years and years and years later. And to be like, this is, I feel like we're getting closer to what the original Planet of the Apes concepts were. It's much closer, like a fully established society of apes that have like, basically people have devolved. And we've seen a little bit of that now in this one. And we're almost at that point, but I never watched those old ones, and so this is maybe my first opportunity to kind of get into the meat of what those stories are about.
You haven't seen the Mark Wahlberg one?
I probably have actually, but I don't really remember it. I thought it was what's his name from Friends was in that one, wasn't it?
No, he was in a
Lost in Space
of Lost in Space.
Okay, my bad.
Joey.
Yeah. Okay. So wait, Marky Mark was in a really?
Yeah, it was just like a reboot of Planet of the Apes, just kind of like a retelling of that story, just modernized a bit. Instead of like he was like an astronaut instead of a fighter pilot or whatever. Mm. What's his name? Is it Charleston Heston?
Yeah, I think you're right. But I mean, the thing is, like, the greatest moment of those movies is the twist at the end, right? And that will never be, you can never achieve that again. So it's like,
well, they did it with the Mark one.
Yeah, but
spoilers.
Spoilers. If anyone was seeing Planet of the Apes for the first time, that.
Oh, we're allowed to? Okay.
Yeah,
so
yeah, come on.
Mark just like shows up, like he fixes his ship or something, and he flies away or whatever. And then when he lands, it looks like it's fucking like Washington D.C. or something. And then he goes to like see he's like by the like monuments, and he looks up and it's like that big chair where Abraham Lincoln is sitting in.
Yeah.
But then when they go to the face, it's an ape. And then all these cop cars start driving up. All the sirens, and then when they get out, they're all apes in cop uniforms. It's actually pretty sick.
Okay.
Because the end of the very first one, obviously, was the revelation that like
it was Earth.
He's he's time traveled or something.
Yes, and then he sees the Statue of Liberty.
Yes, so he sees it's New York, and like it's all. It was before, and the apes took over.
Yeah. So I just feel like you can't do that twist anymore. Obviously. So
yeah, because the second time was kind of ridiculous, but like looking back, it's kind of sick. Like now, but you can't do it again.
You can't do it again. In fact,
we need to just live in fear that these superior beings, are just in control of us.
Because if you think about it, apes are. Well, not all of them, but a lot of them are stronger than us.
Yeah, the strength, dexterity, just the agility, Speed, the ability, the muscle density.
Right. But if they were smart,
I think like Cat Williams has a whole joke about how like black people could just basically take over too if they all just like
they all just work together.
Yeah.
That's funny. The off topic but funny. Okay. So just quickly mention this then. Guy Ritchie's The Gentleman. I don't know if you remember, this is a movie from a couple years ago. There's a series coming to Netflix, same title. I think it's set in like it's a sequel to the movie. It's the premise of the original
Guy
movie.
Ritchie does TV.
Yeah, well, that's the premise of this. But it looks really good. If you watch the trailer, it looks like a movie. Like it has the production value of a Guy Ritchie film. And
I skimmed through it quick. Nothing was really pulling me. But
listen, it's like it's Guy Ritchie doing Guy Ritchie stuff. Yeah. So it's like
I'm actually on my phone though, like moving the cursor up a couple seconds and moving it again 10 seconds.
And you're like,
like what's it?
It's a bunch of guys in suits. Giancarlo Esposito's
I'm saying like that process obviously doesn't make any sense, but it's good enough for me to be like,
that's your that's your take.
I don't need to like invest in this movie.
I swiped up and down and I didn't see a scene that I liked, so I'm not gonna watch it. Anyway, I am gonna give it a shot. There's also a new movie coming from Guy Ritchie, and I don't know. I'm just like I just love his stuff. It's like a little bit like
Play-Doh.
We all know what it is now, right? It's not really anything new under the sun, but it's fun to just dive into like British gangster stuff every once in a while. I don't see the problem.
Yeah, and if he's known for it, and he can come back and like remind people why he's the goat for it, but that's a high bar too.
Not easy, but again, good cast. So, listen, my favorite Guy Ritchie movie is Rock and Rolla. So, take that for what you want. I love that movie. I think it's so fun. Absolutely, like just great. An unbelievable cast, so good. And they wanted to make another one. They even teased it. It says the Rock and Rollas will return at the end of it. There's no way it'll ever happen. Like, there's no way they could afford to pay all the actors that they got to do another movie. They're just all too big now. So anyway, a shame. Okay. So moving on, John Williams, who recently announced that he was retiring, has decided to cancel his retirement plans.
What song comes to mind first for you? Mine was the Harry Potter one.
I don't know, Jurassic Park maybe, or Star Wars. Probably more realistically, it's Star Wars than Jurassic Park. But I have been watching Harry Potter, and that doesn't hurt. He only scores the first one, and then after that, it's taken over by other people. But that
you haven't finished Harry Potter?
We have the two part 7.
See the last movie.
We have the last two movies to do. Yeah.
The Deathly Hallows. I'm not mistaken.
Part 1 and part 2. Correct. Yes.
Interesting.
Yes. I've been getting a different appreciation for what people consider to be the better ones, and I don't fully agree because people are saying that like the 6th one is really bad, and
I think the last like 4 or something were all the same guy.
They are better than the 5th one. I'll just say that the 4th one. The fourth one. The fourth one is so bad that
I think the Goblet was they brought like an older British director in the mix. which was kind of a bold choice, but kind of cool because it was everyone was British basically, right?
Yes.
Whereas the first two is Christopher Columbus, just a living legend who did Home Alone 1 and 2 as well.
He absolutely captured the magic of
and
children.
Mrs. Doubtfire, I believe he directed.
Yeah, it's
quite a. He's not. I don't think I feel like he's not very famous, even though those movies are just massive.
It's like people don't think they think Home Alone, but first thing you don't think of is Christopher Columbus, right?
Yeah, it just sounds like a made up name too.
Well, it is the name of an explorer.
Like a current living director. That's why I like to say living legend specifically with him because
right. Because he's
he established Harry Potter with those first two.
But he didn't discover the new world, so it's kind of like a low bar, you know?
Right.
Yeah, he did Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. He did Harry Potter, Home Alone 2, Pixels. He did Pixels? Ooh.
Interesting.
Okay.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, neither have I, but I didn't remember hearing anything good about it. Christmas Chronicles, Bicentennial Man, Christmas Chronicles 2, and Gremlins.
Wait, he's Bicentennial Man with Robin Williams?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, that's hilarious. And was Mrs. Doubtfire not in there?
Yes,
or is that
Mrs.
someone
Doubtfire's
else?
in there as well. That's right. You said that already.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah,
impressive, I think.
There's some highs and some lows, you know?
Yeah.
But that's okay. You can have some highs and lows.
But think where you are right now in Harry Potter and what those first two were.
So much better.
It's almost mind-blowing. If you like for you right now, pop in that first one. It's like they were literal kids.
Well, here's the thing.
First off,
I think
actors,
they lose the plot a little bit about like what is important in the. It's like they lose the sense of wonder pretty early on, like after the third one, basically, and it's never.
Yeah,
really
but it's pretty fun to just live in
100%,
the world.
100%. I
really see it fleshed out instead of those wandering eyes, like you're astonished because we're in the same boots as Harry, jumping into that world,
right? And so that is nice because obviously having an established world to get into is fun. This is part of the reason, by the way, that I recently purchased the Harry Potter video game, the Wizarding, whatever it's called. Hogwarts Legacy. Thank you.
22 million copies sold.
Unbelievable! I got it.
Massive success.
I got it for Kara. But I'm probably going to play it too. But the idea is like you just jump into this wizarding world that's already fully established, and you don't have to like rediscover these things.
Grab the sorting hat, choose your house.
She's a Ravenclaw, apparently. That's
nice.
She's like, you can technically choose whichever house you want.
I would have guessed Hufflepuff.
I feel like that's like the go-to, like, and this isn't
just to make fun of somebody.
Yeah, it's like you're making fun of them, but at the same time, it's like, why is that an insult? Something? You know?
Yeah.
It's just because it sounds funny, I guess.
It just means you're just not in the race. Like, sorry,
you're just not cool. You're just not a part of the cool crowd.
But like Ravenclaw, like that's
cool name.
We just, I think I'd have to choose that because I think it's on the same wavelength as Gryffindor, but just has a bit of an edge to it.
100%. The other thing is, I think there's no shame in being a Slytherin because it's kind of fun to be the bad guy sometimes.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
And then within this game, you get to experience all the secret tunnels.
Exactly.
Every house's dorm. Like
she was joking. She was like,
dorm to live in.
She was like, first because we saw the Ravenclaw like dorm room or whatever. I was like, I don't think we ever saw this in the movie. And I was like, it's super cool with all these spiral staircases and stuff. And then Kara was like, this game is just like 90% staircases. Like,
they're just always moving just to manipulate the space to fit it.
It's fun.
Did you guys read either of you read the books?
No, because I'm too lazy. Who has the time to read, Jeremy? Who has the time? I don't know. I can't do it. Anyway, back
I probably got it for Christmas or something, the first one, and I just did it.
I got my sister one of the books for Christmas because she has the whole collection, but she lost one of the books. So I'm still buying these books, and it's
I have them all except for the last two, I believe.
It's unfortunate that J.K. Rowling is a crazy person.
You just don't talk about her. I guess,
really. Exactly. It's just so crazy.
But I recently purchased the first three books again that are these kind of these new editions that are bigger books. Like feels like it's almost like leather on the outside. Pretty much has like the shiny like emblems and like designs on it. It has like the year 1, year 2, year 3.
That's cool.
All one color each one. Cool new artwork on the front that's like painted. within.
Are you going to read these books, or you just want to have them?
Well, I want the first three. I already have. I mean, I wanted these ones because they include some artwork every now and then like kind of like these pop up artsy type things, like even just like little dials that spin, or just like just cool like things that are like unique to the world that you can see.
You can't go wrong with
like they're just little paper. There's paper crafts that like have spinning things, or that's just cool. Different art things, fold out, pop up things. Not a lot. It's like every now and then it pops up where there's some art.
I tell you that I saw the Harry Potter play in Melbourne when I was in Australia. Did I tell you about this?
I don't think so, but that apparently it sucked or whatever. They didn't really make any waves.
It's pretty cool, to be honest, to like the way that they craft the stage and like do the effects and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. I just meant like we haven't really heard much of it or any sort of like.
Well, it's only a matter of time, I think, until someone tries to make it into a movie. I mean, the thing is though, it's not a very good story. That's the problem. It's like a very generic time travel story, and it opens up the whole problem of the time turner as a concept in Harry Potter. There's a whole bunch of these kind of like objects and things and powers that exist in Harry Potter that it's like if you examine it with even like the slightest scrutiny, you're like, wait a minute, like how is this? Why is it like that? Why wouldn't they just do this? There's a lot of that in Harry Potter. And like mostly I'm fine with ignoring it because it's more fun to just have fun with magic than try to like pick apart plot holes. But
also the books are just way better as you go on in comparison to the movies.
Well, yeah, I'm because there's just more room to explore bigger concepts, which is why I'm sure the show, that HBO series that they said that they'll make, but who knows if it ever happens.
We'll
give it.
We're gonna do all the books, every single page,
every page, like, and all of her.
But
thoughts.
It's like, but it's the same as the movies or something like that. Because I guess.
Well, it's retelling the same.
It's like
story.
Lord of the Rings, kind of, right? Like it's almost like untouchable.
Oh, Jeremy, don't even start with me. I just watched the first. I watched Fellowship Extended Edition. By the way, it's so crazy that when you get the 4K edition, you're back to 2 discs. You have to watch it on 2 discs again.
Oh yeah, well they're extended. They're the extended.
It's so wild. Yeah, but like it's good because you can actually watch half of an extended edition. It's like a whole movie. So you watch half of that. You can take a break. And then come back for the other half. So I've now watched all of Fellowship and the first half.
Did you just leave the menu like kind of like linger to just watch 100%. The whole like thing? Yeah,
I used that to calibrate my sound system because there was like all good like.
So when I saw that, like I don't know what the name we don't have Dan anymore to really just like nail these the words, these locations and like names for things. But there's like a stone kind of like building or like. Kind of castle or whatever.
The one in the
kind of meeting ground,
the one in the plains that's surrounded by like open plain. Is that the one you're thinking? Yeah.
And it's like so clearly through this new 4K restoration, like
it's so gorgeous.
It's somewhat of a. It's like you can just tell it's like a layer of CG. Like,
the CG
clearly
stuff
over top
has
of the
always
film.
Been very obvious to me in Lord of the Rings, for better or for worse.
Mostly. Yeah, but it's so just cohesive and consistent and just matches everything.
Yeah, like even
all I'm saying is that the clarity of this, you can just tell it's like these kind of faux things.
Well, you can see where things
floating.
Are real and where things aren't as much.
Yeah.
And it does take you out a little bit. I think the biggest thing for me is that obviously you have New Zealand and they have these big massive shots of these vistas of running.
The vista shots, tracking shots
unbelievable,
are everything to me.
Yeah, and so it's super cool to see like Middle Earth brought to life in that way. But when you get to these like smaller locations like Rivendell or Hobbiton, I feel like it just feels like, okay, now they're on a set. They've transitioned from a real world into a fake world. That's kind of how it feels.
Yeah, I think those lines are less blurred there. But the thing with Lord of the Rings, and maybe at this point we've obviously seen them so much. Like we were just kind of.
It's been so long for me.
Brought up with these things, you know what I mean?
I last saw them. Yeah, well, they were the best, biggest movies in right when like movies became a thing that I really cared about in the early 2000s. Right.
This was like cinema at its peak, and it was not stopping. It was
I know.
Like, it was just.
We were also getting the Star Wars prequels at that time, and it was like What a world.
Yeah, it was kind of like a battle between Lord of the Rings and Star Wars.
Yeah, 100%.
Instead of like a Star Wars, Star Trek thing.
It was so cool. Anyway, I still do think that the first half of Two Towers is pretty boring, unfortunately, especially the extended edition.
I don't know. I've come around with Two Towers. I think it's creeping up there for the top spot. I was very hard on it before.
It's got to be Fellowship. It's got to be. The first half of that movie is pure vibes. It's so
enjoyable. It's just so well established, establishing every single thing to come.
Right. But from the prologue.
Oh, and the one thing that dates it, like these movies are timeless. Don't get me wrong.
Yes.
But the one thing dating these are the frame rate drops for like some whatever, like slow-mo effect that they're going for.
They don't have. They weren't using a high-speed camera, so when they go into slow-mo,
just horrendous.
Well, you're used to like the slow-mo ramping that Zack Snyder does, which is like super high-speed camera.
It's just
so
beautiful.
You can do much more intricate. I mean, you see this sometimes in movies and TV when they're trying to like extend a shot by like a couple seconds, or they want it like slow.
But this one they mask it mostly when like the urukai are like running or whatever, and they want to be like they like get these close-ups of like kind of like shaky cam almost, but it's mixed with slow-mo.
That music is
oh my goodness, Gollum in Two Towers is sensational. When the performance is when he replies with it's my precious, it's
unbelievable.
It makes me just evaporate.
So first of all, I still think those movies are really good, especially the end of. First of all, Kara's watching it for the first time, which she's doing reluctantly, which is I'm feeling like a little insulted by. It's like, what do you mean What do you mean? I have to
it's tough.
You?
Lord of the Rings has a veil over top of it because it is the very first kind of old fashioned fantasy.
It's fantasy.
It's the blueprint.
F. It's capital F.
Yeah, this is where do you think elves, all the mixture of all these 100%. Beings, and it started here, and it just made sense.
It's cohesive.
Like it happened.
The world is built out in a cohesive way, and it's fully realized, exactly. And people try to cheat that today when they try to create their worlds, but you can't really cheat it. You have to do the work. Tolkien did. So the thing that it's making this rewatch much more.
But he did by borrowing so many elements from.
Well, I mean,
kind of right.
He was constantly
them.
Revising his thought, which I think kind of makes it interesting. Like original concept, what might have been X. But then he's like, over time, he's like, well, really, now that I think about it more, it's more like Y or whatever, right? Which creates this kind of more of a mythological feel to these things, where it feels more like, well, the story really did pass down over time, and maybe the true tale, quote unquote, is still out there. That's how it feels real, right? So I've been watching videos on YouTube about Lord of the Rings lore because I find the people who read them have like really soothing voices, and it's really good way to like wind down at the end of the day is put on a Lord of the Rings like lore video. Like one I watched yesterday, but I fell asleep watching it, was why is it called, which two towers are they referring to in the Two Towers? And the kind of the takeaway, I guess, is that it's kind of up to you which two towers that there's kind of different answers, and Tolkien revised his kind of thinking about it over time, about what she thought it was. If it was Dol Guldur and I've had all these
testing your knowledge.
I had all these words in my head yesterday, and now I can't remember them all.
Testing your research.
Is that the hobbits go west. They're taking the hobbits to Isengard. Isengard, as I needed to use that. So Isengard and Dol Guldur, or the Tower of which is the Tower of
the Riders of Rohan.
just throwing words in there. Yeah. Helm's Deep. Yeah. No.
Carl Urban just shows up. That's the third movie,
yes.
Right?
No, the second movie. He shows up in the middle of the second movie. By the way,
the second movie's the best, dude. Come on.
It's not the best. The first one's the best.
It's the best.
The first one's the best.
Yeah. No, I agree. I just love the setup of
Rohan.
Of of the Shire.
Oh, well, yeah. The first one with the setup of the shower is so good.
Unbelievable.
Every
music,
teeny little detail with the Hobbit house and like everything that they're doing.
Man, they rebuilt that shit even better for the Hobbit trilogy, and it goes so unnoticed, like it's after the fact
so
type
cool.
thing. But it's very cool that like that just exists, like that the Hobbit trilogy
exactly
exists.
But that's like the thing with those physical locations, you feel that they're real, which I think is such an important piece of it. And then like the way that they do the camera trickery to make the hobbits look small and everyone else like as a normal size and like all that stuff, and like Gandalf being inside his house and like him hitting his head on like the chandelier and stuff.
Dude, when him and Frodo are in that house
and he picks up the ring in the background.
What's his name is gone.
Yeah, Bilbo's left already.
Bilbo's gone, and like they are just left with the
ring is on the floor,
thing,
right? Because he drops it out. He takes it out of his pocket, drops it.
Oh, the sound, and it's just
such
like,
a good thunk. Well, I've actually realized because of this movie, because one of the things I love about 4K Blu-ray is that you get uncompressed audio, and it sounds so good. And I realized that my subwoofer is broken because when that thud when it hits the ground, I could hear the subwoofer like doing that sound that it makes.
Then when like that like evil music kind of just like the plays in the background.
The ring theme is so
which
is that theme that plays when the title of Lord of the Rings just comes up over black, which I think is such a brilliant move. Just title Lord of the Rings over black, and then you have the Rings theme, which also plays over the prologue, which has Cate Blanchett doing her thing, and it's like, what a cool what a cool opening sequence. So well realized. You have to do so much work to like establish the world, and you just do it in this like really.
There's great slow mo in that part.
Yes,
you know what I mean. Like the real, like the high frame rate slow mo. It's just those jarring choices.
If you don't have the thing is like if you don't have the frame rate, you can't really do it. So you have to cheat it, and that's the. You can't go back and they weren't going to go back and reshoot it, right?
Right.
Anyway, we're off on a big tangent here. The point is John Williams is not retiring. He says, quote, if a film came along that I was greatly interested in with a schedule that I could cope with, I wouldn't want to rule anything out. And then this last line, which feels like so unnecessary, but so sick. He says, everything is possible. Only our limitations are holding us back, which is like, thanks, John Williams. Really needed that from an emotional like burst or boost right now. Helpful. Only our limitations are holding us back, Jeremy. We can do anything. Thanks, John. All that means to me is that he'll probably come and do another Star Wars movie, which would be nice because the last one he did, Rise of Skywalker, sucks. So the thing is, though, the music in Rise of the Skywalker is awesome. It's really great. He's like blending all these themes. He's creating, like he's tying in all of.
Who cares, man? That trilogy is so depressing.
What, the sequel trilogy?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I still think The Last Jedi is
awesome. You can still relive like some cool moments, but like, man,
it's just so poorly built as a cohesive
like, especially from like just kind of how the sequel trilogy was perceived, even though it's kind of had its renaissance
the prequel one. Yeah.
Prequel. And then you have the opportunity to continue what the original set out or like kind of like be more tied to that story in a future movie setting, and they just completely botched it.
Well,
and they had the actors.
Episode 7 is actually pretty good, but they also don't capitalize on hey, let's bring all of the big actors together and have a big, joyful. It never happens, and that is
they don't like share the screen
is a problem. I think that like it's just a missed opportunity that nothing, and now we can't even do it because Carrie Fisher's dead, and it's like. Then they killed off Han Solo in the first one, so it's like, well, now what do you do? Like the closest thing they did was have them all appear as a space ghosts or like as ghosts or whatever, Force ghosts at the end of.
Yeah, I mean that death also like changed, the trajectory of the story.
Well, the Han Solo death is cool, but.
Well, I mean, Carrie Fisher, just dying in real life, right? Like, the story, like the story elements and where they were going, was completely cut.
Well, it's like, what are you supposed to do? It's like the whole plan was to give her the third movie in the sequel trilogy was going to be like led and.
But that's the thing. That's when we could have gotten those moments with Luke, Han, and Leia. Like 100%, we would have. they just had to basically leave JJ just kind of keep going.
By the way, JJ hasn't made a movie since Rise of Skywalker. Was brought to attention recently on Twitter, and there's some defenders out there of JJ specifically. I think he actually does have some good movies. I think he does have some good movies. I love the 2009 Star Trek is very fun.
Yeah, no, he proved himself. He became, this junior Spielberg.
Yes, that's
basically.
what he. But that's kind of how he framed himself, though, right? Isn't that isn't like how he wanted to be framed? When he made Super 8 and stuff like that.
Yeah, because he is, he's a student of all the greats before him, especially Spielberg. He grew up in a time where Spielberg was that like new modern blockbuster director. Like that, we hadn't seen much like it. We saw different versions.
Still really
of it,
haven't, to be honest. One might argue.
Well, I mean, like Hitchcock is a version of Spielberg to a certain degree.
Since Spielberg.
Yeah,
what's the modern Spielberg? Nolan? But even then, it's very different.
It is. It's a conversation between guys like Nolan and Fincher. You know what I mean?
Yeah. By the way, I watched the Fincher's new movie. Have you seen it? The Killer?
I did, but I think I missed a chunk of it. Like I had to watch it over a couple
it's
periods.
It's pretty boring.
But
I'm gonna be honest, but it's pretty. It's still like it's got some.
Yeah,
stuff.
It has some jaw dropping moments, and that's what you're kind of there for. Yeah. I do want to give it another go, just to kind of see how it all ties together, because it was a little bit of a slow burn for me. I think.
The whole movie's a slow burn. That's kind of
but I think once it got going and he was just kind of doing his thing, I was like, okay, this is pretty crazy.
Crazy indeed. Okay, so Star Wars. Speaking of Star Wars, a couple things I didn't mention on our Star Wars podcast. We did cover some news, but it was mostly we were looking forward at 2024 and what we could expect for the coming year. A couple things that happened before the end of the year that I wanted to quickly touch on. Dave Filoni was promoted to Chief Creative Officer at Lucasfilm, which I think is obviously well deserved. He's kind of cut his teeth with that company for a long time. Putting him in a chief creative officer role, I think, really helps position him to steer the story in a way that is going to be beneficial, I think, for lack of a better term, for the future of Star Wars, right? A little bit more cohesive storytelling. I think Dave, more than anyone in that company right now, understands what makes the Star Wars moments big and exciting, and can tie those threads from the prequels and original trilogy and sequels and kind of make it work. So
but there goes any hope for Solo too.
Listen, man, I bet you Dave Filoni likes Solo. That's a good movie. So, we don't know for sure. I would like to see. Let's
not forget about the Donald Glover situation.
Well, Donald Glover's going to come back. He's going to play Lando again. That's a guarantee. You can take that to the bank right now.
No, he's already. That was a newsworthy thing we talked about however many months back.
Yes,
where he was basically saying that he's got the green light to kind of write this thing with his brother and like his creative partner, I guess, because they were.
Okay, but what if that happens? Then if that goes that way, right? And
there's a possibility that they're going to need a young Han Solo to kind of jump in the mix.
Exactly.
But if it's Lando kind of centric, then how do they work in Han?
Well, how many adventures have Han and Luke, Han and Lando had? Who knows, right? Could be lots.
No, I know, but right? It's just like maybe they just want to focus on Lando. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but if you can bring Alden Ehrenreich back to do more Han Solo, I think you do it.
But if you bring in Han, I think he has to basically be It has to be like a buddy cop type.
But you also could imagine a scenario where the series is kind of more of a all over the place in a good way, in the sense that it's telling kind of all sorts of different stories, and you could have an episode or two focus on a adventure with Han and still be primarily a show that focuses on Donald Glover. So I think that's still possible. I would hate to believe that they would be like, well, we don't want to give Han more. He's going to steal the screen if we do that. So, and this is a Lando show. I just feel like that's silly, and that doesn't really fit with the concept of what Star Wars has done in the past in that vein. So I would like to see them do it. I mean, they brought Luke into the Mandalorian. If you do that, Why can't you have
absolutely brutal?
Well, not the first time he shows up. That was pretty cool, right? I mean, his face didn't look good.
I agree.
But
it just ended up being a nothing thing. It was just that may as well just been, it basically was just a fan-made sequence that was done by Disney Star Wars to appease
well,
the fans of this character.
It did make some sense, but then the problem came later when they started to kind of like backpedal some things. I think their reluctance to recast characters like Luke is a problem. And we'll touch on that in a sec, but well,
I've been speaking about that for forever.
It needs to happen. It needs to happen. Okay, so speaking of Star Wars a little bit more, Dave Filoni in a interview with EW confirms what was seemingly already established in Ahsoka as well as in The Last Jedi, saying that, quote, if you pay attention to the films, you understand that the Force is an energy field that's created by all living things, but it takes some commitment to wield it. So this is something that people were getting bent out of shape around Ahsoka, but also in Last Jedi, which is that like the Force anyone shouldn't be able to just use the Force, right? And so there's this kind of I don't know how you'd say this, but there's like this push, I think, from Lucasfilm right now to open up the Force to make it more widely accessible. That if you do commit yourself as X person, Broom Boy from The Last Jedi, inclusive, maybe that's the word. Yeah, that's what they're trying to do, and I think that largely makes sense to me. But I think it still has to be earned. Which I think it sounds like he understands that, but I don't know. Where do you come down on that kind of that idea? Do you want it to be more exclusive, or do you like it like that, or does it bother you that they want to open it up a bit?
Well, I just think it's funny that it just creates this divide where these other people are like just up in arms over like how Star Wars is being treated and what they're doing.
There's a fandom problem
with inclusivity. It's obviously toxic in terms of like when there's actors involved and then creatives, Kathleen Kennedy, a female directing the newest Star Wars.
It never ends. Yeah.
Like a female heroine, right? Like it just like there's this whole dialogue between like it's just not, it doesn't work or whatever. And like it's just interesting to see whatever they do make, like actually how it is, perceived by audiences.
Well, I think that I think you're right that those things are controversies, but I think they're largely needless controversies. Like, why are we throwing the new director of a Rey movie that isn't even out yet under the bus for comments she made about a different movie? It makes no sense. So, like,
yeah, but if you've seen the last Star Wars movie, like, there's no way you want a Rey movie.
I don't know. It depends on how they're doing it. They're doing a big time jump forward. That opens up all sorts of possibilities and kind of unshackles you from some of the baggage of the sequel trilogy. I think I never had any problems with her performances. So if they give her a good story,
but this is just another reboot scenario.
No, it's a continuation, I think, of the world. I mean, that we haven't had any stories set after Rise of Skywalker yet. Obviously, at some point, those stories are going to have to be told, right? So,
you think so?
I think I know so because I know
there's
they want
so many generations within the lore of Star Wars.
You don't need to go forward.
Why do you think it's a good idea to continue the Skywalker story when it was in shambles? I guess
really what they're saying is
trilogy?
It's not really the Skywalker story. They're kind of continuing. I guess her name is Rey Skywalker now. So in a theory,
they had their chance.
Well, I think again, my
opinion
on all this stuff is
showdown with.
You got to give it a chance.
With Kylo Ren, man, it's done.
Yeah, and now there's going to be
get a whole new story, a whole new timeline.
The idea is to establish a new Jedi Order. That's what they're pitching it as. There is a whole thousands of books, not really, but lots of books in the extended universe about a new Jedi Order that they could pull from to make it exciting, interesting. So I'm not too worried. I think it'll be interesting. How about this though? If that doesn't work for you, what about a what if series? You're familiar with the Marvel one. What about a what if series?
Not really. I haven't watched a single one.
But you don't understand the concept, right?
Right.
So what if a what if series for Star Wars? So like what if Anakin didn't turn to the dark side, right? That's an easy one. And I'm sure they'll use that one. But like there's a bazillion different what if scenarios. Does that interest you at all? Like if you could see that, like, okay, we're going to explore the the possibilities, not as a multiverse per se, but as like just a story idea, just original stories that are unshackled from canon.
I guess, but all I've seen from Marvel is they just jumble up the characters and they play different characters. Like,
yeah, but
like,
that one's also tied down with baggage because it has the multiverse stuff. And whereas this, it's just like there's no multiverse in Star Wars. So if you establish we're going to do a what if series, but it's not. There's no framing that's set within the universe, which is what if has. It has this conceit that the Watcher is telling these stories from the multiverse that are in parallel to the events of the MCU, whereas this would be theoretically not that at all, and just kind of be like a story conceit, which is, okay, again, what if Obi-Wan was able to convince Anakin to not, turn to the dark side on Mustafar, right? And then they go and kill the Emperor together. Then what happens, right? Or what happens if Mace Windu kills the Emperor right in front of Anakin? What happens then? Does Mace Windu get killed by Anakin? Does Anakin become the Emperor? Does he take it by force? All these kind of concepts that you could explore. These are all
so just choose your own adventure, but let's just redo some of the decisions.
Yeah, right. I think that's kind of a fun idea, and then you get to use the same characters, but in different scenarios. Whereas with the Marvel stuff, it's like they're kind of the same character, but they're really not because they have a whole different life. So I don't know. I'm interested, and there was a.
I just don't know what they're going to do. Like, when are they going to?
I guess that's the big
pull
question,
the trigger
right?
on anything. Obi-Wan was a letdown, but they still, like he said, he'd come back. He wants to do more. But there's ties in that with whatever Dave Filoni was setting up with Inquisitors and shit. Like, that stuff's obviously going to continue. That's the stuff that's going to continue.
I guess, Jeremy, like, what would they have to do to get you back in the fold, right? Because you're kind of you're teetering on the edge here. What is it? Got to be a full reboot type scenario here?
Got to be a full reboot.
Okay.
We just struck gold with George Lucas back in 77.
Yeah, well,
and the talented artists crafting all these things physically and just making it this cohesive universe that we all know and love today, that every sector within it has variations that all make sense and match up. And
well, yes and no. It's too big for it to always be perfect, but they at least try, which is nice.
Yeah, it's pretty. I mean, it's just so recognizable. Like,
well, it's iconic.
Like the Falcon is just it's the best.
Vader's helmet in profile. You don't even need to see any detail. You just need the shape, and you know exactly who it is, right? So that kind of stuff, I think, is timeless. You're right. Okay, so this actually brings me to an agree or disagree, which I've been saving. So this one is from Matthew Vaughn. You know Matthew Vaughn, Jeremy, from the director of such films as Argyle, to come out really soon. But also, was it X-Men First Class, I want to say? He also did that. And those other spy movies that I can't remember the name
of.
Kingsman, thank you. He's kind of a wacky dude, very outspoken. He's got big ideas. Take like it or love it, or dislike it. Take it or leave it. Like it or love it. Those are your options. But I think he has a vision and he goes and executes, and which is, I think, more than you can say for some. Anyway, so here's Matthew Vaughn. He thinks that Star Wars should have a reboot and only focus on the Skywalker family. Quote, "What are the Star Wars characters? Why are the Star Wars characters so hallowed that from 1977 you can't redo it for a new audience?" Question mark. Do you agree with that conceit in theory? Agree or disagree?
Okay, say it one more time.
Why are the Star Wars characters so hallowed that from 1977 you can't redo it for a new audience? Could you reboot Star Wars?
Could you reboot Star Wars?
Yes.
He's saying you can't?
He's saying you should. He's saying, why can't you?
That's what I'm saying. I've been saying that.
Well, that's why I brought it up.
So I agree.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, I disagree.
I think the characters were just so well written and the performances were just so genuine, and we spent our time with the characters. It wasn't so contrived as most things kind of tend to be now, to check boxes and to get to where we can be so we can make more.
Right.
That shit didn't happen.
They just wanted to tell the story
then.
they wanted to tell. Right.
They just George Lucas just jumped into this timeline that's so vast.
It's so crazy because he started with the fourth one, right? I think that's which they wasn't originally called that, but they very
that's
quickly
the genius
changed
move.
that concept, and it would by very quickly after that it was.
But it's only the fourth one because he came up with such a long backstory to get to that first movie that he wanted to have X-wings in and all, like, you know what I mean, like all this, and then Luke just kind of joins the ranks and is just slowly, like, it just all makes sense to where he's progressing.
By the way,
just becomes the chosen one.
Speaking of which,
he was the chosen one this whole time.
Well, there's still debate about that, about whether it was.
Yeah, well, I just think at the end of the day, we have to just, it can't just keep going on forever. It's not The Walking Dead. Okay, it's not.
That's Jeremy. That might be one of their. That's a little bit too real for me because I've been saying for years on this show that I was like, any story that is like designed from the beginning to never end is ridiculous, right?
Yeah, but I'm saying that you, with your relationship with Star Wars, you do not want it to end.
Well, I don't. No. Don't let me wrong. I love the world of Star Wars, and you can tell all sorts of stories in that world, right? Which I guess is the case of Walking Dead, right? It's like, okay,
I'm just saying. I think it's completely fair to say that Luke is the guy. He was the chosen one. He brought balance to the Force, and to the galaxy. It's done. We don't need. You can have all these ventures after. But the sequel trilogy is
the one that kills the Emperor, but then he gets brought back, so it's kind of like, I don't know. He
gets brought back.
It's not perfect.
Who gets brought back?
The Emperor does. Palpatine does in episode 9. That movie sucks. Remember?
These movies don't count, dude. That's what you're missing here. It ends with return.
Okay, but so it's the prequels and the original trilogy, and that's it for you? No.
Yeah, the prequels were a nice.
No
let's
Rogue
go back.
No Solo.
Remember? No, those things are cool because it goes into that back part that Lucas had all planned out or arranged in a timeline. I mean, you can dive into that well and have fun there.
Yeah, and the Clone
They did
Wars
that with the
is set in
TV
that
shows,
same
and
timeline,
and even with the new TV shows, they did that, but they faltered a little bit in how they kind of ran those stories, like the Boba Fett stuff, and like how they wanted to connect it with things. It was just a little too much content-y.
But have you seen Andor?
Have you? I watched the first episode.
Oh my god! You got to watch the first 3 episodes, and that's you have.
I heard tell the fourth one is really gets.
No, it's the third one because they do 3-episode arcs. So there's a first 3 episodes are one mini arc. Then the next mini arc is also 3 episodes, and it's fucking
I would
amazing.
love Andor if it came out like a couple years after Rogue One or something.
You're just too burnt out.
Solo was out.
Oh man, you're missing out on some good stuff. That's what I mean. Like, it's like, what do
you want?
What do you want? Yeah, like I don't. They're not going to reboot it. So
just continue with Rey and Kylo Ren.
Well, I don't think Adam Driver's coming back.
You don't think Adam Driver's coming back?
I don't think Adam Driver's coming back. First of all, his character's dead.
Dude, this is like if Henry Cavill was James Gunn Superman, and they just kept going, and they just do this new script.
Maybe, I don't know, but like
without adhering to anything from before it.
Like, I just don't think he's going to come back because I think Adam Driver doesn't need Star Wars. Is what I think it is. So he's got Ferrari and Michael Mann, and that's it. Listen, I love Adam Driver, but Ferrari looks like not a fun movie. It doesn't look fun to me.
The trailer was good. I was sold in that trailer until that Ferrari fucking flew up into the sky and hit that pole or whatever.
That was the turned you off? Interesting.
Yeah, actually.
Huh.
And then I looked it up, and like it was a huge thing online. People were like, "What the hell is this?"
You
want to talk about disengaging?
Right.
We need to have a soundbite of Patrick Stewart saying "engage,"
but put a dis in front of it or engage with the story.
Like when we talk about how when people are disengaged, we gotta be like, you need to, and then engage.
Okay, good. Hold on, let me write that down. That's good. Okay, so we got the THX theme, right? And then we have
but that was you misread me when I said that. I was trying to make fun of the people who just go to the theater for that button and it makes that stupid sound. It's like a squishing of the leather, like
yeah,
that tightness of the.
Yeah, that's so funny because I hate that sound. Not a fan of that.
But that's when you know you're at a theater with reclining seats.
Yes, it's true. But and like honestly, it is better to have the reclining seats. We can all agree. It's in a big.
But there's no engineering master that can figure out a cheap way to just like not have that squishing sound.
No, because that seats have to be really close together. Okay, couple more stories. So a new Star Trek film is in development. Toby Haynes, who directed episodes of Andor, is very good. He's set to direct. This is described as an origin story set decades before the 2009 Star Trek film. So just Star Trek Enterprise, I guess, or something, but not exciting. People want to see futuristic Star Wars. Or Star Trek. They don't want to see the first time they ever achieved warp speed. First of all, we already saw that in Star Trek. Which one is that? First Contact. We saw that in Star Trek.
So good. That's the best one.
It's unbelievable good. It's so fun. And then we did a whole series called Star Trek Enterprise, which was the first Enterprise ship.
That First Contact reminds me of like how like Star Trek was like the X-Men movies, and then First Contact is like Logan.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? It just seems so much more raw. But I don't know how like the story played out. I just remember like seeing these actors in this kind of like.
Well, they spent a lot of time on Earth in that one, which is always interesting.
Like just in their natural habitat was just so like cool.
They're also like that's like they're right in. You talk about like being in it with the Harry Potter movies. It's like just living in that world. It's like by that time those characters are so established. You understand exactly who they all are, and you can play off.
That's the first time they were on the big screen.
I don't think was that the first one they did.
Wasn't it?
It might be. Here's the thing that they're missing out on, by the way. I think, which is they have really great Star Trek shows on television right now. Why aren't we just making those into movies? We did that for years, literally for like 25 years. We did that, but why can't? Okay, so if go see the Star Trek movie and then go subscribe to the Star Trek series on Paramount Plus.
It's too much. Like why? Like there's On Deck Academy and Star Trek. Like
first of all, it's Lower Decks and is the animated one. It's really good, very funny.
I don't know, man. As soon as there's animated shit of like cool shit, and like the animated shit's like all funny and like whatever. It's like
it's really fun.
No, I'm saying like it's fine, but it's like don't expect it to be like this widespread like everyone should. No, be tuning I get that.
In. It's really about like indulging in as a Star Trek fan. It like
like you get bonus knowledge. You get a lot of bonus stuff here with that show.
Exactly.
If you're 100%. Just a diehard Star
Trek. And like because it's set at the same time, like around the same time as Voyager and Deep Space Nine and all that stuff, you get those connections into that. So that's like it's fun. But then like Strange New Worlds, which is set before the original series, unbelievably great. You could easily tell a setup movie with that cast. So I think
we need a movie straight up where we just dive into it, and
that's what this is, I guess.
And it's the guy who played what's the
Anson
annoying
Mount.
Character?
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, like the black guy with the green lightsaber.
Oh, what? No, who are you talking about? I'm talking about Star Trek, right? You're talking about Star Wars? I don't understand.
Yeah, I was jumping back to Star Wars for a second. We need a movie where that guy is just a badass Jedi and like there's a crazy conspiracy story going on and he's just in the middle of it.
Mace Windu?
No.
From the sequel trilogy? Finn?
He was Jar Jar Binks and then he got to be
Ahmed Best.
Jedi.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm fine with that. He's pretty cool. He actually appears in as a Jedi in Mando season 3, I think.
He protected Grogu or something like that.
Yeah. He has a really cool moment where he like kills a bunch of clones and then like escapes. It's pretty cool in my opinion. Again, what more do you want? I don't get it. I don't like, okay. Warner Brothers and Tom Cruise have agreed to a unique development deal. It's actually really crazy to me because I think it's a smart move by Warner Brothers to try to court Tom Cruise, who makes big movies, and Warner Brothers needs that. But it's so funny because if you read the details, it's very much like Tom Cruise is like agreed to this, but like it feels like really one-sided because Tom Cruise is still able to make movies at any studio he wants. He doesn't have to give Warner Brothers a first look deal. He doesn't have to, like, he's really not committed to anything. He just gets an office at the Warner Brothers studio and then makes it easier to make movies with Warner Brothers, but he doesn't have to. So I don't know.
Just seems like another David Zaslav fake news bit to like sell because the rumors that they're going to be merging with Paramount or something, which is where Tom.
I thought that was Apple. Isn't Apple going to merge with Paramount?
Who knows?
I don't know. Less streaming services I'm actually fine with. But.
And then Tom, remember they had the leaked story where Tom saw The Flash and it was the movie.
Right.
It was the greatest superhero movie
that explains
ever.
A lot more now. It does. Right. What a liar. What a fucking liar. I lose so much faith.
Hey, guess what? Yeah. James Gunn lied too. Said it was one of the greatest superhero movies
liar. Ever. This is what the Variety article says. It says it's a coup for Michael DeLuca and Pam Abdi. Who took who took over as co-chairs and CEOs of Warner Brothers Motion Pictures Group in 2022, and who have been working to reinvigorate the studio as well as for David Zaslav, the man who hired them. The deal with Cruise, who has projects at rival studios like Universal and Paramount, isn't exclusive, nor is it a traditional first look back. The actor can make movies at other companies, but the hope is that he will be able to generate the kind of globally appealing blockbusters that could spawn sequels and enhance Warner Brothers' bottom line. Because isn't that what it's all about, Jeremy? Is just enhancing Warner Brothers' bottom line when it really comes down to it?
Enhance.
Zoom and enhance. Yeah. That's
more of a visual gag.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Tron Ares. By the way, this is the new name for Tron 3. Tron Ares. Do you like that?
No.
Oh, no. Okay.
Just very generic.
Okay,
AI
Tron
generated.
Ares will be filming after the holidays. It will star Jared Leto, unfortunately, Evan Peters, also unfortunately, no offense, Greta Lee, Jodie Turner-Smith, and Cameron Monaghan. It won't have Joseph Kosinski directing or Daft Punk doing this score. So really, what's the point at this point? Tron Legacy, first of all, this is my moment where I have to say, where's the 4K Blu-ray re-release of that movie? It needs to come.
They can't.
Yes, they can. Of course they can. You don't think that film... You don't think they can do it?
The scene with the fake, what's his name, will just look atrocious.
Well, obviously they would need to do some touch-up work. Obviously. But can you imagine that movie in 4K HDR? Yeah. Right? Though? Come on. With that score? Come on.
No, but in terms of like a video, it's almost like a video game remaster.
Basically, the whole movie's made out of video game assets. I mean, come on. But I've been wanting, they had the opportunity to make a sequel with Joseph Kosinski and Daft Punk at one point, and they passed on that, and now they want to make this garbage movie. So, whatever, I'll see it. I'll still see it, but I'm not happy about it. I don't know. Does anything about that excite you at all? I know Tron is a weird franchise.
The only thing cool in Tron is the light cycles.
Well, and all the vehicles are cool, right? Wouldn't you say? Even the cool Jeep thing they had?
Especially the cycles.
Well, yeah, obvious. That's the original thing. So, have you ever seen the original? I've never even seen the original Tron.
Yeah, I think I had the DVD.
I don't know if I could do it. It's too old. I know that sounds bad, but
yeah, it's just one of those things. It's hard to engage with something when it has all those.
Yeah, if you do it in that exact voice every time, Jeremy, I'll be able to replace your voice with the sound bit. So
I don't even know. I'm not even doing an accent.
But here's the thing. He says engage so many times. Which one do you use, or is there different ones for different scenarios?
I don't know, but I had a university teacher that looked like him, and he would literally say, "Make it so" at the end of whatever lecture.
Well, hey, at least you got to know your audience, right? You got to know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah.
Did you see the last Fast and Furious movie?
No.
Okay, well, Fast
Last one I saw was the Paul Walker one. After that, it's just been a travesty after travesty.
Yeah, it's really wild. Vin Diesel is his image.
That was supposed to be a goodbye.
Yeah.
Paul Walker was one and the same with the franchise. Vin Diesel took it over. It's completely unfair.
Well, he is dead, Jeremy. I mean, what are you supposed to do? I mean,
yeah, but it's like if what's the twin movie?
Twins battle.
The same
Austin
story.
Powers?
No, Catherine Bigelow directed. Point Break.
Oh, right.
It's like if that movie continued, and then what's his name died, and then Keanu just kept going.
Well, he's also dead, technically, right? Patrick Swayze.
Yeah, no, that's why I mentioned like Keanu keep going.
Right. Yeah,
he finds,
I get that.
More crazy dudes.
But the thing is, like at that point, even at that time, at like 7 or whatever it was when they made that, when maybe it was 6 when they made that last one with Paul Walker. It was already getting really crazy, and they've just kept ramping it up and ramping up. But guess what? Fast X Part 2 will reportedly be a throwback to the first film with a trimmed budget and less major locations. Does that entice you at all? Or has Vin Diesel stained it for you?
Yeah, no, that one's just funny because we've all been kind of like the whole joke of Fast and Furious turning into superheroes has been around since like what?
The 5th one.
5, pretty much, even though 7 was like the goodbye to Paul Walker.
Yeah.
And then they went to space and all this other crazy shit.
Mm-hmm.
But correct. So now it's like, but then people are just like speaking the whole decision in the comments. Like, what are you going to do now? Like, you just went like, how can you go from that? How can you revert back?
Well,
and make it an exciting.
And the thing is, how do you do that as a part of a part 2 to a 2-part one, where the first part is so over the top and wild that like the second part of this 2-parter is going to be like a completely different movie. Like, obviously it is a different movie, but like it's just going to feel very disjointed, I think. But maybe it's probably a good thing that they would do that. Like for the final movie in the franchise, go back to the roots, you know?
I don't know. Vin Diesel just seems like he's like almost like a Kanye West type.
100%. That's a really great analogy.
Mentality. Like it's not like it's their fault. You know what I mean? It's like the people around and even the audiences. Like it's almost like we reward.
Well, it kind of got out of control. It got bigger than even Vin Diesel could.
The God complex just gets created with the interaction, the relationship with audiences and themselves. And
and like they feel like he's kind of lost the plot, right? In both literally in the sense that like the plot makes no sense, but also like what made those movies work, which was the heart. And it's like he always says, it's about family, and all that stuff. But like it just feels like he's just saying it now and he doesn't really mean it. Like that's kind of where
it's become a mascot.
Yeah, exactly.
It's Vin Diesel, bald, wife beater on,
drinking a Corona.
You know what I mean? Muscle car.
Yeah.
Wrench.
Yeah, and like they're gonna
chicken barbecue, Coronas.
Right. Someone making some snide comment. Yeah.
Making fun of people who aren't car people, like the whole language.
Right. Yeah. No. Listen, man. I get it. Ludacris being like super smart and really cool, but not getting enough to do. It's the usual. I guess for me is if they really can synthesize a movie that is true to the first movie, I think that would be interesting, and I'm willing to give it a shot. That's my take on that. Okay, quickly on Marvel, and then we'll wrap this sucker up. Okay, Echo premiered recently. I don't know if you've watched any of it. I have watched the first 2 episodes, and I think it's pretty cool. I do think that ultimately they're like, okay, we're going to put this under this Marvel Spotlight umbrella, which is supposed to be a little bit grittier. They're really leaning into the street level stuff, and I'm into that concept. I like the idea of doing that. Ultimately, I feel like Echo was made to be a PG-13, and then they wanted it to be like an R, and then they kind of had to like bump it up or pump it up a bit. Whereas the Marvel, like the Netflix shows, were kind of started at R. And then if you wanted to make them for Disney Plus, you'd have to bring them down, which I think now they want to get back up to the Netflix level, but it's taken them a little bit of work to get there. There's some really cool stuff in Echo. I think, there's a little bit of tease of Daredevil and how that's going to work. Kingpin is obviously great. Vincent D'Onofrio, friend of the show, Vincent D'Onofrio. He liked one of our tweets once. He's really good, and he's back. And, they've said that they want to set him up as, quote, the Thanos of the street level MCU. And I think that's a cool idea. So no problems there. In parallel to that, the entire Defenders saga, so all the stuff with Daredevil and Jessica Jones and what else? Defenders, obviously, but also like all those things. Punisher, those which were kind of in limbo, and I don't know if this matters to you or not, Jeremy, but they've been added to the MCU timeline on Disney Plus, which I think is supposed to give them some legitimacy and maybe pull them back into the MCU. And it kind of make them more, actually part of it and where they're kind of tangential. Does that matter to you? Is that cool to you? Or do you think they should have left that separate?
I mean, if those actors are coming back and being integrated within the MCU through the multiverse stories, then their multiverse story leading prior to being involved in the multiverse existed in the form of those TV shows.
Correct.
So, if you want to take like a comic book nerdy approach to it, then
isn't that what we do?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's all not.
Now it
just
just
not all
means
great.
I got to buy all the physical copies of all these things to include with my MCU
I guess.
Blu-ray collection.
I mean, here's the thing: I think that the Marvel Netflix stuff is like 80% good, like that, and I think that's maybe being a little.
Yeah, it was refreshing at the time when we got Daredevil, Punisher,
Jessica Jones was really
Jessica
good.
Jones, but then it was faltering a little bit with Iron Fist, Luke Cage.
First season's pretty good.
And then before all that, it was Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is that included?
No,
in this
it's
as well,
not.
No?
Not yet. Not yet. That one's maybe too wacky, Jeremy. I love that show. I truly do. It is so wild, so crazy, the stuff that they do, especially in the later seasons.
Yeah, but if anyone's going to be considered part of the MCU tapestry, and you're going to exclude that one ABC 7-season show,
it's multiverse. It's multiverse.
Yeah, and it has what's his name, who was like a pillar of like kind of the Avengers Inception,
the first stuff. Yeah.
Agent Coulson. He was there teasing things in bonus extra scenes.
He was the one who was like, "Hey, we found the hammer" or whatever, right?
Yeah, he was just like a commercial like actor dude.
He's great.
He's like, "Are we, like, can you hear me now?" type like energy, like just kind of showing up. There's a familiar
Holy
friend.
Holy shit, Jeremy! I did not see that coming. That is so funny. You're right. He does have that little bit of the like, oh, it's the Verizon guy or whatever.
Yeah.
But he's a good actor, actually, turns out.
Oh, yeah.
So he actually carried that show for like a long time. There's again,
but he also had a send-off within the Avengers because they killed Joss Whedon in typical fashion, kills off like a random kind of
to motivate the
secondary
character. That is a move he's
to pull the heartstrings and get the team on the same page,
and it worked. That first there's really nothing to indict in that first Avengers movie except for maybe that like Hawkeye doesn't get enough screen time.
I mean, I've watched it again, and I don't think it's definitely not as exciting as it was when I watched it in the theater. I mean, it's definitely aged.
Nothing is going to recapture that.
Like, I'd rather watch Age of Ultron than the first Avengers movie.
That's the thing. Age of Ultron apparently has aged quite well. I haven't seen it for years, so I can't speak to that. But if you say so, I'm not surprised. I mean, it was really kind of Joss Whedon going full comic book shit in that one, right? So, props, I guess. Here's the thing, though. So they're bringing Eden Henson and Deborah Ann Woll back as Foggy and Karen because they are
That was backlash.
Isn't this crazy that they were like, hey, we made an entire series of Daredevil, 24 episodes. Isn't that crazy? And then people are like, yeah, that's so cool. And then they're like, and guess what? The first 5 episodes, he doesn't even put the suit on. He's just a lawyer. And they're like, boo, you suck. And they're like, oh no, what have we done? So they backpedaled so hard and are basically remaking that show basically from the ground up and bringing back characters that should have been there from the first place. Why isn't Foggy there? That makes no sense. So as a part of that, ultimately, that likely means, in a very short amount of time, we're going to get Jon Bernthal back as Punisher, probably. And if anything, like of all the things, obviously Daredevil's really cool, no doubt. But Jon Bernthal's performance as Frank Castle as the Punisher is like top tier performance, best iteration of the character, bar none. It's not even close, in my opinion. And he says here in an interview recently, he says, the Punisher has to be great and has to be right. He says it's a real sacred integrity. It has to have real sacred integrity to the source material and to what it is at the core of Frank. I'm going to do my absolute best to make sure that if and when we do it right. Jon Bernthal is so cool.
He's the best.
First of all, if you've seen The Bear, he plays a kind of a recurring supporting character in that show. And every time he appears, it's like amazing. It's so cool. Every time he appears,
he has his own podcast, John Bernthal.
Does he? Funny. I have to start listening to that then, because I just think he's so well spoken. His episode of the Hot Ones, which I don't always like Hot Ones, but I think his episode of Hot Ones is like one of the best ones ever. He's just so calm and collected. He has such thoughtful responses. Even this line here, he says, "Real sacred integrity to the source material." Like, he cares about this stuff and he understands like what makes the character tick, but not in like a toxic way. In like a true craftsman artist kind of way. I just think he's
he knows who the fans of Punisher are.
Right.
Like he points them out, like in terms of like he'll like directly speak to like law enforcement and like
100%
that whole kind of ilk of which is in the fiber of that character.
There is a bit of a toxic nature to that character that can be there, right?
Yeah,
but he
frames it as there are people who have roles like that and who are around, weapons like that and have abilities with them, and they all kind of relate to like that version of that character that can on a dime just kind of flip it.
Right. And I think the tightrope they walk with Punisher is trying to not glorify violence with guns.
Exactly.
Where I think what makes John Bernthal's performances so great is that he hates that he has to do that. He hates it. And
you know what we got to do for another soundbite idea? We got to, like, when you ask a question like, did you like it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? And then if you loved it, you can play the soundbite where he's like on trial. And he's like, you remember when he's like, I liked it. Hell, I loved it. And like everyone's just like astonished because like he's like admitting to like just like brutally murdering somebody or something.
Oh, yes.
I think.
Cool. I all right, I'm making a list here of stuff. I need to figure out a way for you to be able to hear them, because otherwise it's not the same. So I need to figure out a way for you to be able to hear them.
No, I just like when I listen to podcasts and they include like familiar
me too.
Music or like just whatever, like even like slash film with like their spoiler territory,
which they got a new one with that, and I actually really like it.
I haven't listened to it in a while, but I remember just being very like comforted in that moment. That you passed,
right?
You passed the line. There's no going back. We're getting into some deep conversation.
Well, and
or whatever.
That first one always that original spoiler one from the slash film guys had like a long drawn out sequence from that Nolan movie, the magic.
Oh yeah,
where he's explaining magic, basically how magic works, and it's so cool, right?
Yeah, from the
you
Prestige.
Want to be fooled, right? Like awesome.
Yeah, you can do a lot of clever editing or whatever for like a piece.
Yeah,
but like for us, since we're so like involved in like
I still need to do the
nerd culture and like film and stuff. If we just had a major one and we just played them like whenever you thought would be like an appropriate kind of like joke or whatever, it just kind of enhances
the Justice League is under attack.
But like it has to make sense.
No, I know. I get it.
Quicker.
I get it.
But that one could be used for like our version of Michael Caine's monologue, monologue there, or whatever.
100%. There's good ones. There's and the thing is, we come up with new ones all the time, and we need to be able to remember them. So I have I have made a commitment, and I actually said this. I should mention this on the main show. I made a commitment on the Star Wars podcast about the show in general, which is that for this year, my resolution for 2024 is to find a way to fill some of these gaps of these kind of multi-week gaps that we go between shows, and whether that means bringing on new hosts or guests or doing more solo shows, putting a little bit more kind of prep work in from a kind of tech standpoint. I've already done some of that work, so I'm excited for this year at ToB. I think we're in for a good year. That basically does it. We should mention. You know what? I don't even want to mention. Here's what I'll do. I'll mention that the Golden Globes did happen, but largely speaking, I made a kind of a pact a couple years ago. I don't remember that when we found out about all this kind of like corruption and bullshit that the Golden Globes were. They were just going to not talk about them. They weren't important, and largely speaking, they're still not. They made this. They expanded the voting base, aiming for a slate of nominees that were more global and inclusive, quote unquote. This is from the Golden Globes specifically. And they said, the difference is apparent. half the screenplay contenders are women, 2 of the 6 lead actress contenders in a drama film are non-English films, et cetera, et cetera. So they really tried to push back against that same kind of Oscars so white concept. But like, again, the Golden Globes, why? Who cares? The fact that Christopher Nolan showed up should be like a big deal. Like, I can't believe he did that, to be honest. Like
well, he's winning.
Yeah, well, he did win. So it's like, it makes some sense, but it also be totally within, I think his right to not show up to this event, the award show that feels relatively like second rate compared to the Oscars or Emmys, which Emmys are tonight, Oscars are later this year. But he did win Best Director at the Golden Globes. Best Motion, Best Picture went to.
I mean, it's award season, right? You kind of just it's kind of just something you sign on to when you have one of the biggest projects of the year.
Yeah, I guess.
And we are basically just discussing winners. Like, we're not necessarily
talking about the show
discussing
itself.
The show, or like, we don't really care about viewership or tuning in or
apparently it was
entertain us. We kind of just save that for the Oscars and we judge that one.
Agreed.
The most.
Agreed. So I guess the takeaway was that Oppenheimer was a big winner at the Golden Globes.
But Emmys is just TV though, so that's kind of, it's the Oscars for TV.
Yeah, but the thing is with the Golden Globes, it's both TV and movies, which is kind of weird. Like they blend them together.
But I just like that one to see all the celebrities in the same room.
Yeah, and then often they're like, the whole thing with the Golden Globes is usually that the celebrities are getting pretty drunk. There's a lot of drinking, so like you get some weird stuff. There was a funny meme with like Taylor Swift and stuff like the gossiping, and there's some stuff like that was pretty funny. But like, largely speaking, the host was, I don't even know who it was.
That was the kind of story of it, is that he kind of bombed.
But like, what do you? I mean, I don't know. It's a thankless task
10 days notice
to be the host of these things, right?
Yeah, no one wants to do it anymore. But then John Mulvaney did it or something for like some sort of other awards, and that one was well done.
So Ludwig Göransson,
he was a little more self-deprecating rather than just like attack. Like, it just, I don't know. It's like people are like too sensitive to, is like the whole conversation.
Well,
like, he
I
makes a joke about the NFL. Like, don't worry, we won't have as many cutaway shots to Taylor Swift like the NFL, and like there was like no laughs. And Taylor,
I mean, that's a funny joke. I don't like. What do you?
Yeah, it's like how is it like that the whole narrative with the NFL is like it's Taylor's season. Like,
right.
It's this whole thing.
So I don't understand, like, oh, well, making jokes about Taylor Swift is uncool. What do you mean? She's the biggest celebrity in the world. Since when are we not allowed to make fun of her?
Ricky Gervais's monologue from a few years back, like it'll never be topped. Like, that one was just insane.
He incinerates.
He was like, "Don't thank your God, thank this, thank that, then fuck off."
Exactly.
You guys aren't better people. You don't know anything more just
Ricky
because
Gervais is unbeatable.
That.
Really, is what it is.
He just knows what will cause controversy, and he just goes right at it. But he's super like slick with it.
Okay, so here's the big takeaways from the winners. Best original score, motion picture. We already mentioned the director and director and animated, motion picture director drama, which is also Oppenheimer, obviously. Best motion picture animated, Boy and the Heron. That's not surprising, Miyazaki. And then
it's not gonna be any surprises. It's all just typical award season.
Well, Poor Things went to best motion picture, musical or comedy, beating Barbie. So that's interesting. Then there was, let's see here, best original score went to Ludwig Göransson's Oppenheimer score.
He's already winning. We don't need to go over every winner here.
I'm just skipping scenes to find some good ones. Oh, I know you're a big Billie Eilish and Phineas O'Connell fan, so they won for best original song. Yeah, they've been winning.
But then one of the awards, Ryan Gosling's song won.
Yeah,
original song. Then there's a meme because he's like stunned.
It's a great song. It makes sense to me that he would win. Best performance by a female actor in a limited series, anthology series, or motion picture made for television. Ali Wong for Beef. Did you watch Beef? It's a really fun show.
Yeah, I did actually. That was the one thing I actually tuned into.
Oh, great, cool. So, did you like it? I assumed you liked it.
Yeah, that was sweet.
There's nothing to not like about it. It's just so cathartic to watch people get angry at each other, and then like
they're just like always interacting and like.
They're constantly trying to like one up each other. And then the thing about that's so great,
it just goes to crazy lengths, right?
Toxicity.
They like crash their cars and shit. Like.
Yes, it's wild. It's so cruel. But like their lives are so different, but they're entwined by their rage, their anger problems. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Best motion picture performance by a female actor in a motion picture drama, Lily Gladstone, Killers of the Flower Moon. That's a big one for diversity. Great performance, by the way, in that film. A really long movie, but very good. Best performance by female actor in a motion picture: Emma Stone for Poor Things. Female actor supporting role: Devine Randolph, Holdovers, etc. Performance: female actor supporting role television: Elizabeth Debicki for The Crown. Best performance female actor in a television series, musical or comedy. I don't know why The Bear is considered a musical or comedy. It's not a comedy. It's a drama. A dramedy, maybe. Ayo Edebiri. She's great, by the way, and she's directing episodes in season 3. She's one of my favorite performers right now, full stop. I think she's unbelievable. There's a oneer that they do in both the first season, but in the second season where it's not so much action as it is like interaction between her and Jeremy Allen White, and it's so long and unbelievable. Like it's so gripping and real. Can't express enough how good that is. Best performance by female actor in a television series: Sarah Snook for Succession. Best performance by male actor in a limited series: Steven Yeun, also for The Beef. It makes sense. Or for Beef. He's also really good in that. There's a funny moment in The Beef where she's like talking to her about how like, or he's talking to somebody about how Asian people and white people can't be friends. It's just like he believes it so deeply in his heart. It's so funny. It's ridiculous. Best performance by male actor in a motion picture: Cillian Murphy, obviously. Best performance by male actor in a motion picture, musical or comedy: Paul Giamatti for The Holdovers. Who knew Paul Giamatti was still relevant in 2023? Happy for him. Great actor. Robert Downey Jr. won for Oppenheimer as well. Best performer by a male actor in a supporting role. Supporting role on television went to Matthew McFadden, Succession. Jeremy Allen White, best performance by male actor in television series, The Bear. Makes sense to me. Drama, Kieran Culkin. I don't know why that's so hard to say. Kieran Culkin, Bill performance, drama. And then Ricky Gervais, actually, speaking of him, he won a stand-up comedy award for his most recent special. So, all right, so there you go. Those are the kind of the big ones. Best television limited series, Beef, also, which beat out Fargo, Daisy Jones, All the Light We Cannot See, Fellow Travelers, Lessons in Chemistry. And then best of it, television series, musical or comedy, has to be The Bear, obviously. And then best television series, drama, Succession. So like the thing is with the Golden Globes, there's so many categories that like everybody can win. So I guess that's fun.
Except for Better Call Saul.
Well, it wins Emmys.
53.
Don't they win Emmys?
53 nominations, not one win.
But don't they win Emmys? Hasn't Better Call Saul won a bunch of Emmys?
No, I just seen a tweet now.
Oh, really?
Better Call Saul has never won an Emmy after being nominated 53 times.
That is wild.
See the full winners list here.
Is it maybe just people are like, well, we already awarded the original show. Like, do we need to keep, like, Breaking Bad already won a bunch of stuff. Do we need to give more to?
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, what's the actor from, who plays Saul? Okay, what's his name? Anyway, I love him. If I remember his name, I love him. He's also really great in The Bear. He plays a small role in that. Is this a new category? Cinematic and box office achievement? Why would we award that? They already win by making all the money. I don't know. That makes no sense.
It's just recognizing like
the big movies,
popular. Like, yeah, it'd be like Spider-Man: No Way Home, or that or something.
Yeah, Spider-Man Across the Universe, Oppenheimer, Mission Impossible, John Wick, Guardians of the Galaxy, Taylor Swift: The Eras Tour, and the Super Mario Bros. Movie. But Barbie won. So
yeah, like there's just so many, but like only one can win, and it's like, I guess it's fair enough because Barbie was the highest grossing, or
well,
but maybe Mario was, but then that one.
No, I think Barbie is higher grossing. I think it made over $1 billion. So
yeah, they both did.
Oh, really? That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, just depends on that.
So point. Wild. I mean, listen. I like the Mario movie, but Barbie's a better movie than Mario. It's not even. It's in terms of like making a movie based on some kind of abstract concept. The Barbie's better. It's just more thoughtful and it has something to say, which Mario is just like a fun time, but has nothing to say. It doesn't even make any sense. Like why does Donkey Kong have the Mario Karts? And why does, you know what I mean? Does that make sense? Is that like a criticism that I'm like?
It's
is
just
that a
the way
criticism?
they set up their environment, like their traveling system.
Yeah, like why is it the Donkey Kong world they use carts for everything? It's like I don't know. It's just like okay, I guess that's a fun idea, but it makes no sense. I guess I don't know. I don't know if that's a fair criticism, but I feel like that one kind of is stuck in my craw. All right. Anyway, that's it. That's all for today. We'll be back soon in this month, obviously, with our film club for the Iron Claw. But we'll be back sometime later this month as well with some more regular ToB stuff. So keep an eye out for that, as well as some more small screen Star Wars. Hard to say when exactly those episodes will come because we're waiting for the next series to drop. But stay tuned for that. Best way to do that, follow us on Twitter at Tower Babble Cast, Facebook.com/Tower Babble Cast, and head over to our website, towerbabble.ca, to find everything we do. And if you want to hear that special film club episode about the Iron Claw, subscribe to our Patreon, patreon.com/Tower Babble Cast. Good to be back. Thank you for everyone who supported us over the last year. Looking forward to a new, big, exciting, less depressing year in 2024. And we'll talk to you again very soon.